Hello, 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 and thank you so much for joining me today on the Community Ledger. Again, my name is Andrea Banu, and thank you for joining me today. If you have not already, please do go ahead and press that subscribe button. I appreciate all the love and support. And so today we are going to discuss a new election or the results of an election. Your favorite mayor, Miss Tiffany Henyard out of Dalton County, was hoping to continue her reign as president, and the results are in. So go ahead and grab a cup of coffee or a snack, and let's go ahead and start the show. Hello, and thank you so much again for joining me. And so I'm going to go ahead and jump right in because, as you know, Dalton County is going to go ahead and do the primary with regards to mayoral candidates. And Tiffany Henyard is one of the candidates, and she is hoping to go ahead and win her seat so that she can become the mayor again. So let's go ahead and take a look at the local news in that area.
Election today, including Dalton embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard facing a challenge. Are voters ready for a change?
Dane Placco is live with a closer look at the race. Dane?
Yeah, we're at the Diekman Elementary School here in Dalton, which today is doubling as a polling place. And as a matter of fact, Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard herself voted here just about a half hour ago. Now, we've been talking to some of the Dalton residents coming and going today to vote, most of whom, in fact, all of whom told us they're ready for a change.
I think it's over. You got to do something good with the power you get. If you just throw it away.
Previous mayor, she ran into some challenges. She started out really strong and, had a lot of support. But now the way the village is going, it's just time for a new direction.
Higher than a normal, usually, but yeah.
These municipal elections are generally lightly attended, but we're told turnout has been very heavy here in Dalton, which has become the center of national attention because of its controversial and flamboyant Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who's also the subject of an ongoing federal investigation into spending, hiring, and contracts. An investigation by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot found the village millions of dollars in the red, with hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit card expenditures that just could not be explained. Henyard was actually voted out of office a couple years ago in a recall election, but those results were overturned in court. Now, over the last few months, the village government has descended into chaos, with meetings being canceled or disrupted and little or no legislation getting approved. Henyard is being challenged by Dalton trustee Jason House, who told us a short time ago he's optimistic about becoming Dalton's next mayor.
What are you seeing on the ground today?
On the ground, we're seeing a good turnout of residents. People's voices will be heard at a higher level than it was before, and a lot of support. So we expect the victory tonight.
I think that people didn't give me a chance. I think that I was blindsided from the go. I came in 2021, and when I came in 2021, I was faced with a recall. So every year it was something else. Then they took me off the bank account, and then the next year was something else. So you never gave me the opportunity to continue to govern, and I want the opportunity to govern my town.
Now, Henyard is also claiming that there was election suppression here in Dalton, although she didn't specify exactly how. I also asked her what she plans to do if she doesn't win tonight, and her answer was very interesting. I'll have more about that at 5 o'clock. Polls here close at 7 o'clock this evening.
So, drum roll, please. So they have done the election, and these are the results. Okay, Miss Tiffany Henyard only received 12.1% of the vote, allowing Mr. Jason House to proceed in the primary. So Miss Tiffany Henyard will not be moving forward to compete as Dalton County's mayor. And so now what this says to me is that there is definitely a shift happening. I don't know if anybody else has been paying attention, but there is a theme going on. Okay. So the theme that I'm seeing is that in all of these liberal cities and all these democratic states, that the politicians do the exact opposite of what the people in those particular cities and states desire. And as a result, they continue to fail. And as you know, with the most publicized election, the presidential election, Kamala Harris pretty much ignored everything that the people were stating that they wanted out of her presidency. And that is where Trump gained steam across all demographics. His numbers went up. He obviously won the presidency as well as the Senate and the House in terms of just having the entire what am I thinking? That's not what I meant to say. The Electoral College as well as the popular vote. And then Republicans took the House and the Senate. And so as you continue to see, people wanted change. They did not want the transgender ideology. They did not want biological men and women's sports. They did not want an influx of migrants into their communities that went unvetted. They did not want all of these wars abroad. Americans did not want what the Democratic administration was pushing hard. And so the people spoke. They came out and voted for change. And now you have these Democratic leaders. You see it in Boston, you see it in New York, you see it in Chicago, are doing the exact opposite of what the people want. They've decided to fight ICE. They've decided to fight the federal government with regards to these migrants and everything else. They are fighting tooth and nail to maintain the power and maintain the status quo. And so there is a huge fight going on right now between the Democratic Party and the people. And so what I am seeing is that all of these mayors are wrapped up in a lot of spending, fraudulent spending and waste. You had the mayor in New York, Mayor Eric Adams, who was just indicted. I won't say indicted, but brought up on charges in the Biden administration. Of course, you know, he spoke publicly about not being a fan of all of these migrants being dropped off in New York. And as soon as he spoke out about it, he was hit with charges. Now that Trump has come into play, the DOJ has dropped those charges. So for now, we'll say that for now, they can bring those charges back up at a later date. But for right now, he does look like he's in clear as long as he continues to play the game and stays out of Trump's way and assists with getting a lot of those criminal migrants. I won't say illegal. I will say criminal migrants out of Rikers Island and out of the state of New York. But the charges that he was being brought up on was campaign bribes and mismanagement of campaign funds and things of that nature. So money issues with regards to Tiffany Henyard. She is now being investigated by the FBI for the mismanagement of a lot of funds, state funds, with regards to her presidential seat for her tenure, however long she was in that position, as well as in what city? Chicago, you know, he just stated in my other video that he spent about $400 million on housing migrants, and now they want to spend $800 million to try to help Chicago with some of the, you know, infrastructure and different things that they neglected while spending that money on migrants. And he is being dragged to Washington to speak to Congress in regards to all of that wasteful spending. As you see, Doge is digging through all of these organizations, and, you know, it is, I mean, everything that I think we suspected over the years, which is that these people get in office and it is a massive cash cow that once they get into office, they get on the campaign trail and they make all these promises to the people, and people say, oh my God, we finally got someone who cares about us. We're going to vote this person in. Yes, they look like us. They're saying all the good talking points. We genuinely believe this person is going to bring about some change in our city. And then when they get in office, it's the exact opposite. However, they leave office with a whole lot of money. And so now we are seeing and uncovering what all this swamp is about. So when they say drain the swamp, this is exactly what Trump is referencing. You have all of these people who claim to be for the people, however, have been incredibly compromised. They are, you know, in bed with Big Pharma and, you know, all of these other billionaires, these lobbyists, these NGOs, and they just push a particular agenda, which we will call our values, so that they can get their kickbacks and make a large amount of money unbeknownst to the American people, while the American people continue to suffer, continue to have subpar education, continue to have subpar food and a health system altogether. And, like I said, to me, there is no reason for this country to be as wealthy as it is. And you have veterans who are sleeping on the street. To me, that is one of the biggest disgraces. These people have put their lives on the line for democracy and for freedom specifically, and then come home and have to sleep on the streets and watch all of their money go abroad to finance wars and other endeavors. It's just, to me, that is the biggest act of treason. But nonetheless, what is your opinion? Again, I am seeing a theme amongst all these Democratic cities and all these Democratic mayors when it comes to the mismanagement of funds, when it comes to wasteful spending, and just the misappropriation of American dollars, and just completely ignoring the needs, the wants, and the desires of the people who voted them in office. How do you feel about Miss Tiffany Henyard not being able to get through the primary? A lot of people were in support of her and wanting her to win because, she's a black woman. She is a black woman. A lot of people wanted her to win and speak on their behalf. But like they say, all kinfolk ain't kinfolk. And it doesn't look like she was doing a job well. However, they do have another gentleman in there. Mr. House seems like he is up for the challenge. And hopefully, fingers crossed, he will actually do a better job than Miss Henyard, a better job than Miss Lori Lightfoot. And hopefully, God willing, someone will come in and do a hell of a better job than Brendan Johnson. Chicago needs a savior. Okay, Chicago needs a breath of fresh air. Chicago needs some serious light. They need somebody to come in there, because that city is just, I can't even recall when they had a decent mayor. It's just crazy what happens in Chicago, what's going on in Chicago. So I will say this: pray for Chicago, okay, and those who live there and those who want their city back and love their city and actually, and truth be told, deserve, peace and safety and, to raise their children in a good quality environment. And so, again, thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you have not joined, please do subscribe. And again, thank you for joining me on the Community Ledger. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and watch the next video by clicking right here.